And Ananda Kumaraswamy once described the life of the liberated being as a perpetual, uncalculated life in the present. And you say, wow, I don't think I could do that. The uncalculated life. And I've never met a preacher yet who would really take that up. They all say, all right, let's live the uncalculated life. Of course, that's too hard a saying for most of us. It's not practical. Everybody has to take thought for the morrow and calculate. The first thing to do is just as I said. You have really no control over its outcome. Grace. There must come about something in you of change which you can't produce. And if you try to produce it, you will be the victim of spiritual pride. But on the other hand, all teachers at university saying, you've got to make an effort. There's some discipline. There is something you must do. You have to find out, first of all, that you're always doing it. The uncalculated life, in the ordinary sense of ego control. You've taken a colossal gamble in which you've involved enormous complexes of patterns. And maybe it'll come out all right if you don't interfere with it too much. I should now live the spontaneous and improvident and non-calculating style of life. That flatters you.
By 70mm socket flathead.
But the problem is we keep running into this thing that all constant stimulations of consciousness become unconscious. Our attention is captured by the figure rather than the background. by the relatively enclosed area rather than the diffuse area, and by something moving rather than what is relatively still. Because what I notice, but by and large, you see, we scan things over, but we pay attention only to what our set of values tells us we ought to pay attention to. And so in this way, we have this rather myopic way of looking at things. And we screen out from attention anything that is not immediately important But as you stand away from that connection of dots, which all seem to be separate and apart from each other, they suddenly arrange themselves into a pattern. And you see that these individual dots add up to some kind of sense. And we screen out from attention anything that is not immediately important. But quite obviously, you as a complete individual are much more than the scanning system. You are in relationships with the external world that on the whole are incredibly harmonious. The first thing to do is, just as I said, the relationship between you and the environment is always one that is harmonious. So in the same way, you are always living the uncalculated life. It comes from the whole force of life itself. Now, when you see that without your having to do anything, you are living the uncalculated life. And Ananda Kumaraswamy once described the life of the liberated being